let's look at some books. These are the books that undergird all of what I'm talking about. A good book is The African Medicine Wheel. This lady taught, her name is Linda James, and she picked up on the Dogon people's philosophy of living things, and she did her homework. I'm going to end this paper with her, but she's from Detroit. I'm from Detroit. Linda James, a native of Detroit, holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics education and master's degrees in statistics and learning disabilities. She taught at Cass, Wayne County Community College, and she went on a, she didn't have enough fire in her life. She suffered a lot of abuse as a child, a lot of abuse, and because of that experience, she withdrew. You know, she withdrew, and so she found in purifying her body through the Dogon religion system and using numbers that, you know how we say someone's a Capricorn or an Aquarius, there are different types of personalities, and she brings this out. And you can take your name and there's a number related to each one of the letters in your name, and you can add it up, and then you can get your character type. Either you're a nature person, or a fire person, or an earth person. But basically, a person has two basic traits that they have to keep in balance, and that is water and fire. And people have a lot of fire in their life, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. These were purifiers. Now they had their own, they came in their own way, but they also had a lot of water to drown out the fire. And some people don't have enough fire in their life. You know, they're reclusive, and so you can actually look at your name, your birth date, and all that, and very scientific, very consistent with African thought and thinking. Better than some of these other clowns that, but my point is this, that when you're talking about solving the problems of black people, first use your model on your own people. And when Freud talked about psychoanalytic thinking, he was solving the problems of 16th century Victorian women in the suburbs who had time to sit down on the couch and talk to him. Okay? And I admire Freud because he used his own people in order to develop his theory. There's so many people who want to be diverse today, and I have no problem with that. But first show me how you can make muddy water drinkable in your own community. Show me how you can make an airplane stay in the sky. You know, how can you defend yourself? Those issues of survival. And a lot of these theories, they are solving the practical problems of their people. And this lady right here, Linda James, she went all the way back to her people, and it's a real good book. This is another book. This guy is a white guy from Canada, Michael Bradley, Chosen People from the Caucasus. This is a heavy book. He's going to tell you that there's a little essay that Freud wrote in that was unearthed. I'm going to read it for you. This is heavy. That Freud just about contradicts his own theory. Now, you know Freud wrote a book called Moses and Monotheism, and he sat on it for 20 years. I went to a black seminarians conference in Oakland, California, and I saw the book laying there. Some black students were there, you know, and the brother, he looked at me, he said, "Oh, you look like you're interested in these books." And I said, "Yeah." And so he had dread, he would dread it down, and he showed me Sigmund Freud's book, Moses and Monotheism, because he found out I was a minister. So I said, "Wow." He said, "Yeah, man, Sigmund Freud." And I read the book. I went back to seminary library at Colgate Rochester Divinity School, where I was a student. This was in 1985. I took the book out the library and I read it. And Freud is talking about Moses being an Egyptian priest, which he was. And Freud, and I remember reading the book, and I went to my Old Testament professor, and because I had to turn the book in, it was about almost time for graduation, and I went to his office and I asked him, I said, have you ever heard of Sigmund Freud's book, Moses and Monotheism? He says, don't read it. He says, Freud is way out of his subject area. I said, thank you, Dr. Henshaw. And I walked to the library and I took the book back. I had to read more than my professors. The book